Let's get an overview about Spark SQL properties. As with any other software, even Spark SQL have runtime, and you should be able to control the behavior of the runtime using the Spark SQL properties. Spark SQL inherits properties defined for Spark. Where those properties are typically defined, they are defined under etc. As we are talking about Spark 2, in our environment it's the etc Spark 2. In your specific environment, the location might be different. You just have to check with your big data administration team to understand where the Spark related runtime property files are. In our case, it's etc Spark 2 for Spark 2 and then conf. And the most important files which will contain runtime properties are nothing but sparkenv.sh, sparkdefaults.conf, hivesite.xml, especially for Hive related properties. So these are the properties files from which the Spark runtime is built, and Spark SQL automatically inherits those properties. However, there are some Spark SQL related properties and these are available and applicable even for data frames, even if you are using Spark Shell or PySpark, or if you develop some programs using Spark related APIs with programming languages like Python, Scala, etc. To access the runtime properties from command line, you just have to launch the command line the way we have done earlier with spark2-sql command. Once it is launched, you should be able to use a command called as set, and you should be able to access the runtime properties from Spark SQL CLI. You can also access these runtime properties using the web interfaces such as Ambari or Cloudera Manager, and you should be able to review the runtime properties of Spark. So first let us understand how to access runtime properties using CLI. Then I will actually walk you through briefly using Ambari as well. So in this case, we are setting this runtime property called as spark.sql.warehouse directory. When we start spark2-sql, if you want to see the value of it, you can copy this and you can say set, and you can run it, and you should be able to see the details. You can also get all the runtime properties by just saying set, and you should be able to see whatever runtime properties that are overwritten while launching Spark SQL. There are hundreds of other properties. However, as they are not displayed here, that means they are using defaults. You should interpret that way. You should not think that these are the only properties we have. We have hundreds of other properties. However, we'll be using defaults of those things until we override them using set command if you are using Spark SQL. That being said, you can also check this additional important property, Spark SQL catalog implementation. For this also I have to use set at the beginning and then semicolon at the end. Once you say set Spark SQL catalog implementation semicolon and hit enter, it will actually show the value for this property. It is nothing but Hive. So we are using Hive engine for catalog implementation, and the warehouse directory is set to this. So these are some of the important properties. There are quite a few of them. Depending upon your requirement, you should be able to explore. Now, if you want to review these properties using Ambari, in our environment, the Ambari is available under gw02.itvest.com 8080. You can connect to Ambari. Ambari provide you access to all the services, not just Spark. So in this case, I am using ITversity as user. I am not going to use the admin user. Once I log in using ITversity as user, I should be able to see all the services on the left. As we are talking about Spark 2, we can go to Spark 2 and we can actually go to configs, and we should be able to see the runtime properties of the Spark here. So if you want to get the value for Spark whatever property we have seen earlier, let's say Spark SQL warehouse directory, we can copy this. Once the configs comes up, we can actually paste in the search and we should be able to see the value of that property. So now I am pasting the value. It is not set at the global level. It is overridden at the runtime. That's why we are not seeing it. Otherwise, we will be seeing it. Let me delete this. We can actually go to Spark defaults and we can actually see the Spark default properties here. Spark SQL will not be set at the cluster level, or it is not overwritten at the cluster level. It is using just the default value which is inherited from Hive. That's why it is not showing up Spark SQL warehouse directory. Let's check for the other property which we have used, which is nothing but Spark SQL catalog implementation, and see if there is a value associated with it. It is also not set here. When we actually run Spark SQL command, these are overwritten for us. If they are not set, that means they are using defaults. So this is how you should be able to access the runtime properties of Spark SQL. Going forward, we will be using Jupyter based environment even to learn Spark SQL. You just have to make sure that you choose Apache Tori Scala kernel here. So for example, if you are using our labs, you can actually go to launch and or launcher, and you can actually choose Apache Tori Scala and create a notebook, and then you should be able to run all Spark SQL commands using percentage SQL, and you should be able to take it further. However, because we are using Scala kernel, we have to create the Spark session with appropriate properties, then only it will work. I will walk you through how it is going to be using this material. You just have to create the Spark object. It will take care of creating the Spark context for you. Once it is done, you can run any Spark SQL command using percentage SQL in our Jupyter Hub based environment. Now I can say set, and I should be able to see all the runtime properties which are overwritten in this session. It is only displaying 10. If you want to get more, I'm not 100% sure how to override this, but there should be a way of doing that. If you want to see the property for spark.sql.warehouse directory, you can run this, and you can see that it is set to user IT varsity warehouse. It is because while creating this Spark session, I am setting the value for spark.sql.warehouse directory to this value, and that is what is shown here. In your case, you have to replace this with your OS user, and then you are good to go. Don't use $user, it will not work here, because this is Scala code, not Linux command or Linux terminal. As it is Scala code, you have to either hard code like this, or you have to know how to pass the OS username to this. That being said, you can also set the properties using set command itself. As of now, for Spark SQL shuffle partitions, the value is 200. If you want to override it to 2, you can override like this. Now the Spark SQL shuffle partitions for this session will be 2. So this is how you should be able to leverage the Jupyter Hub based environment as well for accessing the Spark SQL properties, and also to run any Spark SQL command directly instead of using Spark SQL CLI from terminal. Keep in mind that whatever we are going to run using Jupyter Hub with percentage SQL in it, we should be able to run once Spark 2-SQL is launched as part of the terminal. So both are same. This one and using percentage SQL over there are also same. Let us review the property for Spark SQL shuffle partitions on CLI. You see it is set to 200, and I can set to 2 for this session the way I have done here. Keep in mind that you don't or you shouldn't put semicolon at the end for set command when you are using Jupyter Hub based environment, whereas if you are using a Spark 2 SQL from terminal, you have to use semicolon at the end, then only it will run. For example, if I have to set the Spark SQL shuffle partitions to 2, here if I say semicolon and run, it is saying failed to execute with error. Now I can remove the semicolon, and I should be able to run it, and it will run without any issue. However, if I want to run it using terminal with Spark 2 SQL CLI, I just have to use semicolon at the end, and I should be able to run. If I don't have semicolon, it will just go to the next line. You just enter semicolon and hit enter. It will run, and it will set the property to 2. This is how you can access the runtime properties using set command, and also I have demonstrated how to leverage Jupyter Hub to use SQL magic command to run any Spark SQL commands without struggling too much with the black screens such as Spark 2 SQL CLI. In your environment, Jupyter Hub might not be available. If the Jupyter Hub is not available, then you have to get comfortable with Spark 2-SQL CLI, and you can leverage that to run any Spark SQL queries.